So it's time for another gardening week video, and I have just got my seedlings out just to give them a bit of a water because it's a very rainy day today, and I do like giving them a bit of a rain shower and just letting them get a bit of wind on the leaves as well. Just toughens them up a little bit. It's not very often you see me in the kitchen garden. It doesn't take very much work really. I'm just taking the golden purslane out because it's just reached that point where there's virtually no good leaves on it and just lots of thick stems. It's dropping a huge number of seeds on it, on the soil, so this will be the bed for the golden purslane next year. I don't actually mind it self-seeding, provided you do intend to grow it in the same bed year after year after year. Otherwise, I just recommend not even growing it because it's just so prolific at dropping seeds. And then we need to decide what we're going to plant in this bed next. And there's not many choices because whatever we plant has to be out of here really by late April. And so I've only got a few choices of things that would fit in that time window. So one is miner's lettuce or claytonia, one is lamb's lettuce, or the other one is salad onions. So lamb's lettuce finishes about February, claytonia also finishes towards the end of February, whereas salad onions put out now, they'll probably be finishing in sort of March, April time. That's a good timing. Also, the nice thing about salad onions is, you know, you can pick them without disrupting the soil too much. So if you do have seedlings growing, you can just snip off the root to the salad onions just below the surface and leave whatever else is growing in here to get on with it. So I think what I'll do is I'll give this a good mulch with compost and put the salad onions in. That'll keep the weeds down, and then we'll just let the golden purslane come up as and when. So I'm in our little potager front garden now, and we're just looking at this chard, and this had really bad mildew 10 days ago. We chopped it all back, removing every single leaf, and it's grown back really strongly, and the leaf quality is really good now. So I'm fairly confident that we'll get a winter harvest off this chard. I tend to do this a lot with anything in the beet family. Any sign of really severe leaf damage through mildew, and I just chop the leaves off and let them regrow again. And this year I've had to do that with the beetroot and the chard, and it's never failed me as a technique. So I'm back in the polytunnel, and we've got a lot of rain coming, and I've already got 2 of my water butts that are full. So I'm going to start taking the opportunity to rehydrate the ground in the polytunnel. So it takes a lot of water to rehydrate after summer. I've not really watered this ground for, well, probably at least 4 weeks, I would guess. So it's extremely dry, and it's dry, you know, deep down as well. And I know that this is kind of going to cause a slight issue with my tomatoes, but I'm not worried really. I've got so many tomatoes and we've got so many preserved. So I'm just going to lay down about 1 watering can per metre squared, and then I'll kind of go back and start again and put another watering can in, and then, you know, do the same again. So probably about 3 watering cans per metre squared. I need to sort of just get it damp because right now it's all running away from me, you know, because it's not soaking in, it's just running across the surface and finding sort of deep spots. So some areas will get really well watered, and then other areas will get basically nothing at all. So you need to just sort of start to get it damp so that the water just runs down deep rather than just finds its level. So now I've got that done, I'm just going to put a little bit of dolomite lime down, because this bed's where the Grenoble red lettuces are going to go, and for me they often get a bit of tip burn in winter, and so I'm hoping that dolomite lime will help with that. It's basically down to poor calcium absorption from the ground in winter. And then I'm going to start putting some bloodfish and bone on the ground so that I can really well water this in and get it sort of down, reasonably deep. And then I'm going to mulch this over in October. But all these things are just useful little things to start doing now to make October a little bit less busy, and as I say, just to use up all the water that all the rain basically that's going to fall in the next week or so. This side of the tunnel has had a lot more water, so I've only given that 2 watering cans per square metre. So hopefully this has been a good water for it, and this will soak down nicely. I'll basically do the same again in a week's time, and then the week after that we'll be ready for planting. And I won't have to do too much watering at planting time, because I don't want the tunnel to be too sort of damp and moist. I want the water deep down and not so much at the surface. But yeah, I mean, some of this is still bone dry, 2 or 3 inches down, so yeah, it needs a lot more water than I've given it. So that's my 3 main water collection tanks cleaned out, the one over there, these 2 here. I don't give them a real scrub out because I don't find I get any real problems with algae buildup or anything like that, because I'm using the water so frequently, even in winter. Obviously I'm still watering the polytunnel and things, so yeah, I just give them a swill out just to reduce the amount of debris that's at the bottom of the pot of the containers. And yeah, so that one is okay, I don't need to clean that one. And I've watered all of these low tunnels as well, so basically all the undercover beds are watered, polytunnel is completely saturated, and I'll just keep on, as I say, doing that for the next week or so until we're finished. So one of the things that I normally do at this time of year is fill all my hanging baskets with strawberries, but this year I'm going to put lettuces in them, and I'm going to put the strawberries in them in February. I find that I get a lot of shrinkage from the compost between sort of now and February, and so the strawberries are sort of going into sort of depleted, well, by February time they're in depleted compost that's kind of shrunk down a lot. And so what I think is I'll be better off starting with fresh compost in February. So I'm going to put, as I say, put lettuces in. Lettuces do so well higher up in the polytunnel, where they're getting maximum light and maximum heat, and they're away from slugs and other nasties. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I always do a few lettuces in hanging baskets, but this year I'm doing a lot. So there they are, all out of the way of the slugs and the snails, hopefully. So now I'm just going to start potting up some of my strawberry runners from this bed. I just let them grow right at the edge here, makes it really easy to distinguish between the ones I want to keep and the ones I want to pot on. And they're easy to dig out as well. So I'm quite happy with these. What I'm trying to do is I just sort of put a bit of compost at the bottom of the pot and then just work my way around, holding this at a level so that the crown is just above the soil level, and then just kind of pushing the compost in around it. So I'm not worried too much about them because, as I say, I'm going to be potting them on anyway later on, but yeah, potting them into the hanging baskets rather later on. Some of these have got a lot of foliage on them, which is not necessarily a problem, but it is going to mean they're going to blow over in the wind. So I'm going to have to find somewhere to put them that's a little bit sheltered. And I might end up having to cut some of this foliage back. This is all new foliage though, that's grown since I cut them back the last time. So it's, you know, it just shows you the sort of nice weather we've had for getting new runners established. Anyway, these are going to enjoy a week of rain, so hopefully they'll get nicely established during that period of time. And I've got a decent number of plants here. I don't know exactly how many I've got, I'll have to count them up, but plenty, I think. Yeah, so I've got 20 plants there, 10 to go in the polytunnel and 10 to go in the greenhouse at home. So that is ideal. And I've just stuck these slabs here just to hold them so they don't fall over. These are my Christmas potatoes. Some of them have got blight, a little bit of blight. I'm not really worried about it. It's not spreading very much at the moment. I'm just taking off individual leaves as they're affected and just giving them as much time as I can. They won't last long now, but maybe another couple of weeks if I'm lucky. And I'm not composting my leaves. Right, so let me just quickly take you through the harvest. We've got a red cabbage that we took a bit earlier, so we just wrapped it up and kept it in the fridge. Potatoes, that's, I think, yeah, these are pretty old now actually, from the store anyway. Pears, last of the conference pears actually. Loads of onions obviously in the store. These are the ones we're giving away to the kids. Just a selection of the apples that we've got at the moment, lots of really lovely ones, and that's the only cucumber we got this week. Yeah, garlic from the store, last really of the courgettes now. Celery, just a few leeks that I picked when I was picking the spring onions, mistaking them for spring onions. Brussels sprout leaves, and what's that one? Pentland Brig kale. And I'm picking these little immature squashes right now because they're never going to mature to the point where we can store them. So we might as well pick them now and start eating them because they'll probably start to sort of wither and die if they're not going to get to maturity. And all some of the plants are basically dead as well. So yeah, just working our way through those. Just a few of the tomatoes that we've still got. We've got loads of tomatoes, but we're not ready to process another batch, so that's just a few samples to be cooked fresh. Yeah, beetroot, just the dregs of the beetroot. We'll start doing our storage beetroot harvest probably in about 2 weeks' time, I'm guessing. We've got a lot of beetroot. I'm sort of putting it off because it's such a big job. Carrots from the ground, pears, these are huge, absolutely. I think the variety is Invincible or something. We never really had them before. They're a little bit watery, not very tasty, but really crisp and crunchy. So, you know, what they lack in taste, they make up for in texture. Finally got spinach again, so that's really nice, and decent number of peppers. We've got loads and loads of green peppers left, so I'm really hoping that we get those to ripen. Just some, I think these are Joy Choy stems, just for sort of chopping up into curries and things. Yeah, a few more peppers, the tomatoes for the salads, the carrots for the salads, just a few turnips. We've not got very many turnips left now. Salad onions, we started, I think this is the last pick of the grapes, so they're looking quite nice. So some of those will be eaten fresh and some of them will probably be made into a grape jelly. And the salad bases, so I'm just going to make up the salads now. And then I'm done. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment Channel. I'll see you soon.